Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. Um, just trying to get my bearings, figure out what we can hack at this morning. Hi, Ram.
Hey, hi, Lee. Hi. Yeah, hi, how are you?
Yeah, great, thanks. Have you got anything you wanted to look at this morning or this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are?
Hi, it's possibly evening for me, and good morning to you. So, yeah. Sorry, you were asking something?
Yeah, have you
You
got
had a
any
question for me?
yeah, essentially, I've always got a backlog of issues and merge requests to work on, but
Um,
these sessions are here for if you have any questions, any issues or merge
right.
requests you want to work on.
Of course, yes, of course. So I think I landed in the right place. I've been looking for some support with regards to much issues and GitLab support. So basically, what happened Lee, was a couple of weeks back, I got interviewed at GitLab for one of the support engineer roles.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I went through half the way, and due to some unforeseen reasons, I think I couldn't get past through that room.
Hmm.
So I still keep that interest in GitLab and the values you guys carry. So I'm very much curious and enthusiastic with regards to GitLab, and I'm not sure in future maybe I'll retry GitLab, and fortunately I would get through. But so before that, I just wanted to keep that pace up. So that's where I'm trying to get some support or mentorship from any of you guys. Basically, I just wanted to
Awesome.
know where I'm lacking, even before this, I was actually working as a support engineer at Amazon, where I had
Yeah,
on. I'm currently on a break, but pretty much I wanted to get towards and mostly inclined towards DevOps and a lot of cloud stuff, basically pipelines and CI/CD, basically. So
perfect.
I'm putting that efforts to make myself sufficient or the abilities of and my skills to be improved with regards to these stuff specifically into DevOps and deployments. So that is where I think I found this place. I didn't knew this. I very much recently found this, and then I started joining the sessions as well. So I'll try
Cool.
to keep myself up consistent on this. Going for the results, I'll try to attend all of these sessions as much as possible. But
Yeah,
only
yeah.
thing
I
I
mean,
wanted is,
go on.
sorry to cut you off. So only
No.
expectation I'm requesting is I just wanted to start off with some merge requests, some issues where I can contribute to. So is there a good place where I can start with and how to cope it up with that?
Yeah, so did you I suspect you have already, but have you got like an onboarding issue? So you've like requested access to the forks and
Yes. I think I got initial contribution and
perfect.
the page, and then
Perfect.
I've gone through that.
Yeah. So the issue that gets opened up for you has some links to like quick win issues and issues that are good for first time contributors. And they're broken down
Mhm.
into like front end and back end and documentation. So there's definitely the place to start. Um,
Mhm.
because it's such a huge product and project and code base, it's really nice to just start with one of these like simple. We've got a few that you can almost automatically there's step-by-step instructions like remove a line from this file, run this command, and then raise your merge request and you're good. But it's kind of figuring out like what the file structure is a little bit and what the commands are and some of the tooling that we use and the languages that we use, and then definitely the merge request process. So having like pushed that branch up, filling out the relevant sections in the MR template, asking a team member to review that MR and getting it merged through. So even though it's such a trivial change in the first merge request, it's quite a big accomplishment to have gone through that process. So that's normally where we start. Um, and then sort of see how you find that. And then you can have a browse through the other sort of quick win issues, and not the first time contribution ones, but the other quick win issues, and see if there's anything that interests you in there. Because I imagine many people are like me, and that, you know, it's far easier if it's something that you're interested in. By all means, we can provide you something that we're interested in and we would like you to work on, but it's much better if you can find something that appeals to you, and then kind of go from there, essentially.
Got it. Got it. Fair enough. That makes a perfect sense to me. And yeah, definitely I'll keep starting that. Only concern I actually had is like, I'm a peer-to-peer learner, like rather than like just going through like, the online recorded sessions, etc. When there
Yeah.
is some interaction I have, I think I could, I'm able to learn more even quicker and then more
Awesome.
of it. So that's where the caveat I have basically, I think so. But yeah, pretty much I'm trying to cope up with that as well. But I think this is a good initiative you guys have taken, and I think this helps a lot of members like me. And yeah, thank you
You'll
so much
definitely
you for
get
you guys. Yeah,
you'll get a nice insight into how some of our brains work, and that is one of the things that I think is quite nice when we're troubleshooting an issue or attacking a new problem or whatever, is to sort of see the
got
approach.
it.
And it's surprising how often, like, you find that you head in exactly the same direction. So yeah, awesome. Happy to have you here. Thanks for joining.
Great.
So
Thank you.
Jim or Marco, did you have any specific? Jim, you've always got one or two that up your sleeve that.
The only thing I mainly worked on last week, code wise, was trying to get the contributor platform to work, but I think it's an issue on my end.
Okay.
So
If you want to like share your screen and troubleshoot, then we can. But obviously, equally, if you happy to continue hacking away locally, and you know where to find us when you get stuck.
yeah, Marco and I last week were starting to do duplicate issue stuff thingamajigger.
Go on, Marco. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, we had a quick look at that, and then I wonder, Jim, I wonder if it would be better to, instead of doing directly that, have a look at the issue that Lee linked on the MR to basically change the form for the close issues, that we can provide more options like close and mark as duplicate, because marking as duplicate is essentially closing the issue with a link to another issue.
Shall I? I'll try and find the repo and the issue quickly. Yeah, it's interesting because I know they're not exactly the same thing. Yeah, like there's related issues as well as duplicate issues. So we've got the markers outdated and allow relating. So I think it's kind of this one that you were looking at a little bit, maybe. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a sort of happy coincidence that this one came up. And then you've got your MR, which you started.
Yeah, we got the MR started that I pushed up mainly just for Jim to have a starting point. And then you mentioned this other issue that's kind of related. And if we're going down that route, I wonder if it's just the case of work on the form first, so that it's easier to then just add the mark as duplicate with a link to the other issue that's a duplicate.
Yeah, so I guess there's two things in my head that I'm thinking. Like, so I was talking, I'm guessing. Yeah, so sort of saying Marcus duplicate could just be another option on the close action. But then on the flip side, something that I hadn't verbalized previously, that when you were sort of describing that just occurred to me, is off the back of this, I mean, you could arguably have a form or a mechanic or whatever for marking an issue as related, and a tick box to say that it's a duplicate. But no, I just because obviously related is very close to duplicate, right? So,
well, not really, because you could have two issues talking about different things, but that are related to each other. And then you have two issues that are basically the same thing. So that's a duplicate. I would keep the two separate because in order to avoid confusion.
Yeah, I guess there's a very definite and deliberate, like when you're marking as a duplicate, you are going to close an issue. So that's quite important and quite a big distinction. But all I guess I'm thinking is, if someone's marking two issues as related, like we almost should have a prompt that's sort of like, confirm these issues are related but not duplicate. Because if they are duplicate, then you actually need this form, because if you know that there are two options, then fine, you're going to pick the right one. But if you don't know there are two options, I could see you saying, oh, I can mark that, I can link these, I can see that I can mark that related, but not actually realize that that's not the option you want. You actually want to mark it as a duplicate, if that makes sense.
I see what you mean, but honestly, every platform has this related versus duplicate thingy. So I don't really think that it would be, oh, I actually wanted to mark it as a duplicate because I didn't know that I'll this it.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. So did you want to drive, and did you want to play? Just checking that. So where we discussed. So I
did not. I honestly don't have the contributor platform working because I don't know. It was old and I tried to update it, but it didn't really work. I need to reinstall it.
Should I? Actually, where I am at the moment.
Oh, did the user's button on the sidebar reappear for you?
Not that I'm aware of, but I could have a quick look.
I reinstalled GDK from scratch yesterday, and it was there.
So maybe in the background, what I could do, it doesn't look like I've even got GDK running at the moment. I could maybe do a GDK update, because it could even be that I'm on like a random commit and that it vanished for a period of time. Like maybe there was a bug or whatever, and someone fixed that. So, but let me start my GDK. But yeah, it was quite weird. This is waiting for everything to boot. I'm what are we, May, June? I think I'm 2 months out from my laptop upgrade. So hopefully 3 months time I'll have an M4, not an M1. So
oh, that's gonna be fun. I wonder how it will compare.
I've heard that there's a reasonable difference. Like I don't think it's insane. As you well know, the M1s have got a fair bit of juice, right? Oh, it's back.
Yay.
Weird, really weird. Cool. Okay, we can ignore that one for a minute. Has this come to life? Not quite. We're nearly there though. Oh, I was actually in the midst of. I might try and. I don't think I got as far as pushing this, but I'll have a look in a second. Might try and just get this one. It's really tricky, like finding that line between. I don't want to say over engineering, but like I like kind of dropping, should we call it a beta feature or an experimental feature or something that I really want live, but at the same time don't kind of quite have the time or capacity to really kind of polish it. So one of the things that I really want to be able to do is since what's that, sorry?
I did spot this one in a
Oh, did you? So, since giving Jim, you're our prime candidate here, but since giving everyone the opportunity to close and label issues and merge requests, or not exactly issues and merge requests, let's say issues for the time being, like we now really want to be able to actually see that people are using it. So like, yeah, we're sort of data driven, or we should be, we need to be data driven, and like to make sure that we're making the right choices, and that, you know, there's been a bit of pushback for some of the automation that I've put onto the issues because it's quite noisy. And we've actually got an iteration. I'm trying to think what I called it. Move issue summary. Here we go. So I might share this little video quickly. So I'm pushing from, so at the moment we've got like this comment. I know that's a really bad example, but we've got a comment at the top that has the links to the contributor platform on issues, albeit that it's only at the top if you've just created a new issue. If the issue is like a year or more old, then it'll actually end up at the bottom. So this is an example of an issue that I'm kind of pretending that was created new. It had the contributor links on it. And now, like after this new MR hits, as soon as somebody then updates this issue again, give it a few seconds for my dev environment, this legacy contributor comment should get deleted. Come on. Yeah, so that's been deleted, and then it's been moved up into the issue description. So we're gonna, I think hopefully everyone's in favor of this. So the main thing being it reduces the noise due to notifications, because every issue that we add this to generates email notifications to all the participants. It also kind of, it forces it to the top as well. So even if you've got an issue that's 3 years old, then it will kind of stick it right at the top of the issue rather than it being in a comment, which could be way, way, way down the page. And we're making it a little bit more dynamic as well. So this one, it doesn't give you the opportunity to assign the issue to yourself. And that's because it hasn't got the quick win or seeking community contributions or ready for development. There's a bunch of labels. So it doesn't give you the assign option, but it gives label and close.
We don't have the ability to add quick win through the little merge or through the manage issue page, do we?
Not yet. Not yet. Okay. I think that definitely there's more labels that are supported through the bot than there are through the UI, and I would like to see the UI sort of brought in line with the bot to some extent. But I just like, I think if we do add, for example, the ability to add the quick win label, it's not that we're circumventing, but yeah, we just need to think about, and I know we talked about this before, like maybe considering your contributor level in what you can. So maybe level 1, maybe even level 2 contributors can only use the labels that we've currently got on there. But then maybe like a level 3 or above can do the workflow labels, can do a quick win label, can manage the issue weight, can manage the issue milestone, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, before, so this didn't have anyone assigned. So yeah, without anyone assigned, you can label it and close it. Once somebody is assigned to the issue, we remove the close option. So that was one of the sort of pushbacks again we were getting from team members, especially when, like, if a team member created an issue, assigned themselves to the issue, set a milestone and started working on it, they were really kind of, well, we really don't want someone, there's no reason anyone should be closing this issue. So we added a few criteria to that. So when so what have I just added there? Okay. Yeah, so once the workflow ready for development or quick win or seeking community contributions labels are added, then we get the collaborate, take over, or if we haven't got anyone assigned, it would be a sign. So yeah, there's 3 different options, and depending on the state of the issue, I haven't got an example where all 3 are showing there. But if it didn't have a group and type label, it wasn't assigned, and it was marked as ready for development, then you would have all 3 of those options on there. And if there are no options, so if the issue is assigned, it's not ready for development, it's labeled correctly, then you would have none of those options on there at all, if that makes sense. That message would go away. So yeah, I'm good at these tangents, aren't I? So yeah, I'm sure the way that we got here was kind of proving that there is value in having these links on the issues, that it's actually driving people to help us label and to help close issues. So this is like, we need to be able to have visibility of that data, and at the moment I'm having to kind of query Postgres directly or access the Rails console and run like Rails commands to get that data out. So I'm really keen to be able to see some of this contribution sort of timeline, or whatever trend, let's call it, so we can see, oh, why are the translations going down, and why is forum interactions going down, and why are notes are going up, you know, that sort of thing. So I did start to pop that together, but was a little bit, I think I'll write some basic tests for it, but maybe, for example, I won't put it on the navigation menu for the time being. It will be a sort of hidden thing that's primarily used by my team internally for sort of seeing the value of things. But then eventually, you know, I'd love it to maybe even be on the leaderboard, or have it sort of pride of place somewhere. It'll still be accessible for everyone. You can all still use it. But it's just, while it's not polished, there's no explanation of what it is and why it is and whatnot, then we keep it just hidden away.
I can definitely tell when translations were added.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's an overall, not a individual person by person basis, correct?
Correct, but it's like, again, once we sow this seed and sort of get this started, there's no reason why, you know, you couldn't add, and I actually have an MR requests where I did start adding it for an individual, add chart to user page. But this was, I guess, just because I wanted a chart. I like charts, and I was poking around, but there was no immediate sort of oh, this will allow me to do X or drive Y, or, you know, there wasn't really a good rationale for why I should prioritize this. Whereas now there is a really good rationale for why I should prioritize this, because it gives us the data to make some decisions, if that makes sense. So I have what do I have? That's a local. I don't think I've pushed that branch up. There's no reason why I shouldn't. So probably will in a minute. Fact, yeah, it looks like I haven't even created a branch. So, we're going to call it dashboard. And what's that consist of? So we've got the new Apex chart package, a new controller, a route for that controller for the API, a front end route for the front end component, the new front end component, and some slightly disgusting raw SQL to get the aggregate data out. So I think all I probably need to do to actually merge this is write a couple of specs. I know that's more easily said than done sometimes, but let's start by pushing them are in case anyone wants to have a look at the code. So add. Reboot, I have to rerun this command. I'm sure I must be able to add it to my ZSHRC or whatever it is, but it allows me to push and pull from inside the container.
Strange, it doesn't work.
Well, it's not strange as such, because we're running inside a container, like a dev container. So like it kind of makes sense that it wouldn't have access to the host. But what I don't quite go on.
Well, not really, because dev containers are piping the Git credentials into the container when you start it.
Are they? I didn't think they were, because if you take a look at multiple of them, multiple of the GitLab containers, they don't typically do that.
Yeah, I haven't set anything up myself to do that. I don't know, because I'm using this sort of standard off-the-shelf concept, dev containers. So you might tell me that, oh, natively they should do that.
Yeah, because I set up a bunch of the containers recently, and they work both piping in SSH and HTTPS, both on Mac and on Windows. If you have the SSH agent configured to automatically start and do all it.
I think that might be the thing. I think maybe I haven't got the SSH agent set to automatically start. Maybe that's I don't know. I've never, like, the first time I was aware of such a thing was for this, and I Googled somewhere and I found the command to expose the key, and I did that and it worked. And then, yeah, it's just that I have to do that each time I reboot. So, I don't know.
Yeah, again, because by the dev container should, I mean, VS Code should handle it internally to pipe the Git credentials.
What I think it is? Yeah. I think it's probably because this is non-standard, maybe the path to the key.
No,
no.
You did start the SSH agent, right? On the other terminal, I noticed that you were.
I ran this command here.
Okay. So that's you had to do that probably only because you don't have the SSH agent starting automatically. Like I don't remember how I did set it up, but basically on my Mac, when I start it, even if I restart the Mac, it doesn't ask me for starting the SSH.
Okay. I should check that out. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I don't know, because it does say this is about adding the key. So I wonder if there's a persistent.
Yeah, because you have to start the agent and add the keys. I remember I documented that somewhere.
So I've got add use key. Here, do you think it's? I don't know.
I think he documented that in our internal handbook.
Yeah, feel free to share that if you find it. I'll continue hacking. Right. So I created a work in progress MR in case anyone wants to know is it the code before. I really should stop the pipeline because I suspect actually it could pass, because I've added stuff. No, what will probably break is I think I've got specs in there that check the routes, for example. So yeah, let's go into routes.spec. Got to hit stream at the beginning of the session. Do I do it now? No, I'll upload the recording afterwards. So 3 failed ones. So we've got line 43, which is explicit routes that don't require it. Yeah, so dashboard in alphabetical order.
I did document it, but that's for Windows.
Oh, okay. Fortunately, I don't reboot too often. 2 failed, line 27 is contains expert not requiring login. So, okay, so it doesn't require admin and it doesn't require login. And then one more spec. That's the title. And it should be a titled route, I'm guessing. So line 7, yeah. Beautiful. So that should pass all those specs. Yeah. So then let's go to our dashboard. Now, actually, we've already got a spec for activities. So we've got recent and combined activity summary. I think there's some shared ones somewhere. Activity summary shared examples. There we go. So I guess I should test that. Still work. Okay, good. So we didn't break anything because it was a fairly substantial refactor, if that makes sense, to move all of the. So what did I do? So I've kept all the counts. Yeah, so I've separated out the points aggregate functions from the count aggregate functions because we only need the counts for this graph. So I separated them into constants, and then I've created a new scope. So we've got date counts, and we can separate that. We've got different group bys and orders, etc. And then we've got this little method. I'll take some input on this because I don't love this solution at the moment. What I wanted to be able to do is have like a graph that shows like day by day, but that's not hugely helpful because it doesn't massively help with trends, etc. when you have like these quiet points at the weekends, and you can easily have divergence from day to day. But when you start grouping up by week or month, you start to see a bit more of a sort of reliable or trusted pattern. So yeah, that's the way that I'm passing it at the moment, but I don't particularly love that. So shared examples. So we've got user accounts, username search between wider community. So scopes, yeah. So we need accounts. So for user accounts, we literally just assert. So that should be quite easy to write that test. I just do it. Was having fun using like Duo and Claude, etc. to you know, when our spec spits out like two hashes and says there's a difference, but it sort of does it in such a way that you honestly have no idea what or where or how. So it's just like take these and tell me where there's a difference. And then I did another one that I said I need to check that every single one of these fields is working. So I asked it to make sure that in my multiple examples, so I've got 3 records that returned here. I needed to make sure that at least every value, every key had a value at least once. So again, it's like almost seems like the laziest use of AI, but maybe it's clever in a way for something that would just take, you know, pen and paper would be a pain in the yeah, this is it, right? So it spits this out, and actually this might be slightly easier because it's JSON, so I should be able to
copy that,
paste it into a new thing, tell it it's JSON, tell it it's JSON first, then format, even though it's not JSON.
you have to,
but it's done it, and then swap those for singles, right?
those for single and the arrow with the equal.
Actually does use okay. Arrows.
Yeah.
That's right. Amazing. So that's which one was that? Combined. So that's good. So recent. No, that's not happening. And what about this one? So that to me suggests that it's combined using the shared example. Yeah, it is. But I think maybe I wonder if this should be. That do differently? I don't know why the numbers would be different. Oh, how did that ever pass? I guess because the data it gave me was just, yeah. I don't really know why it worked for one, not for the others, but let's fix it first because I was calling the wrong bin. And this was there. Oh, so I'm a bit confused why it sort of passed for one, but not the other two. Asking for activity summary. So then does it pass for restart? Passes for that, but then I'm guessing it's going to fail. No, it passes. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm happy with that. What I should probably that's only checking like day. I should probably have a expecting it to only, I don't know, I was going to say it might only return like one record for one of them, but so this is the month. I don't know whether I should tweak that data because it's not.
Is
it's
it
not
different?
really. Well, it isn't really. No, that's the point. Because it's aggregating it by day, then by week, then by month. But because all the data, there's not data spanning multiple weeks and months, I don't think. So it's not a great test.
Yeah,
But let's just have something in there to start with, and then before I merge, I can refine that hopefully.
yay.
Decent. Looks good. And combined. Excellent. So then a quick, so what did we have in the MR? We had, so I've done the roots, I've done the controller, so it's really just, no, I haven't done the controller. So what have we got? User controller spec. Oh, heads up, I'll miss next week, Marco. I'm going to be sunning myself in Spain, hopefully.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's first time taking the kids on a plane. We've done like France, we've done Disney a couple of times, but
Yeah, but
the first
you went on a train there?
Yep. Yeah. Nice 6-7 hour drive or something. But so this probably door to door won't be too dissimilar, considering it's kind of a lot further. But we've got Southend Airport is literally on our doorstep, so it's really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, then that's in August. I mean, when you said that you are going by train, I mean, how many hours is it?
Oh yeah. I want to say it's like, I don't know, maybe like 9 door to door or something. But
Really?
it's
I honestly,
sort of self-inflicted though, right?
yeah, I actually had a look to go by train from where I'm at. It would have been more than 24 hours because I had to do many different changes.
Got it.
That's simply not feasible.
No, I can't blame. And to be honest, so I'm there the following week for a conference, and I've managed to get a flight out of my local airport. So door to door, I think it'll be about 2 hours. That's including like flight time, getting to the airport, checking in, like everything. But they don't fly back on a Saturday, which is the reason that I got the train the first time round.
Oh, okay.
But I'm looking at other options to just fly into a different airport and figure out how to get home from there. So,
Oh, because it wouldn't just go back from there to where you're at. You would need to do another stop, basically.
yeah, if I, and like it just wouldn't be worth, because the flight's so short that I'm better off, like getting a flight and then a train from whatever airport I end up in, them 2 flights.
Oh, yeah.
So you're gonna have a wonderful week.
Was that sorry?
You're going to have a wonderful week with family.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I'm not setting the expectations too high. You know, got two quite young kids, so like it's definitely going to be a handful. But they're getting to the age where like they can be a bit more sort of trusted and they're pretty confident swimmers, etc. So hopefully they'll get to enjoy a bit of kids club activity and that kind of stuff. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Hopefully you will
Good,
find
good to
nice.
know.
Sure.
One quick question, Lee. Like,
Yep.
I see like a lot of the merge requests or a lot of the issues on GitLab. Most of them rely on Ruby programming language.
Yep.
So is it necessary that I would have to get my hands dirty first on Ruby before even getting into any issues or merge requests, working on them or any sort of contributions? Or is
So
it fine? Yeah, please go ahead.
it's not like an absolute like non-starter without like it's not mandatory, compulsory, whatever you want to call it. You could still work on documentation, you could still work on the front end, you could still work on some sort of CI type stuff. But I would probably recommend you at least like dip your toe in. Even as I say, the quick win first time contributor issues that we've got labeled is around like doing some really tiny refactoring, which you can do just by kind of running a few commands. So I think it's nice to get a bit of a feel for the code base and the language, even if you're not really going to dive in. But as I say, there's plenty of stuff on the front end if you want to play a bit more or prefer the sound of JavaScript. Or you can start by just doing a bit of documentation, so a bit of markdown, wherever you feel comfortable.
Got it. Yeah, that would be helpful advice.
On the subject of languages, I finally got around having a look at Go.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I basically recreated what GDK is for one of our projects, and I've written it in Go.
Nice. And how you feel about it?
It depends on what you have to do for tasks like that, like CLI stuff, and it's pretty easy and straightforward, but it definitely isn't my go-to language for all of the things.
Yes.
It's yeah. So the main time I know that I have done like one or two contributions to the
Runner.
I want to say Terraform provider and maybe the wrapper as well. You know, Terraform provider uses like the API client. Go get tongue twister there. Yes, I think I might have done a few to those, but also I'm sure like when I've been hacking around a bit deep in the in Hugo templates, you know, the static site generator, I think that uses Golang under the hood. So I've had to, but it's really really confusing in that sort of context.
Yeah, I'm not particularly fond of its syntax.
Marco, do you work at GitLab as well? Or your profile was showing that you were working somewhere else. Is that correct?
I don't work for GitLab. I'm not a GitLab employee. I'm part of the GitLab community core team.
Community, okay. Contribution.
Yeah, we're part of a team of I don't know how many are we? About 8 to 10?
Yeah, I was going to say fairly small these days. So yeah, but I lose track on how long we've been collaborating though, Marco, right? Like a good number of years, right?
This year is the third one. Even though
3 years.
yeah, my first year was actually where I shined. And then I had so many things. I actually plan on getting back to work on work time log stuff soon because we need that at work, and I'm kind of a bit more free, so I have more time to pick it back up because otherwise it's going to be there forever.
Awesome. I think you're a bit like me, like as if we can sort of pair or like other people might want to get involved, great, but like motivate each other a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I find it quite hard when you're sort of tackling something alone and I don't have any like yeah, just need a bit more inspiration and motivation. Like the achievement stuff's gone like quiet, but I was hacking at that last week. I think I started doing the UI for yeah, issuing achievements through the UI. So like again, that might be really nice for either pairing or some kind of, I don't know, hackathon. We're still yet to do our hackathon, Marco. We need to schedule a date.
Oh yeah, I thought you forgot about that.
No, I'd still love to do it sometime. Yeah, just figuring out when, right?
Yeah, that's
That's in July, right, Lee? Hackathon is in July, isn't it?
We have our scheduled like quarterly hackathon, and yeah, you're right. I can't remember myself exactly, but I know we've just kind of shared the date. So yeah, 17th to the 24th. But me and
That's a
Mark
whole
have
week
been,
off.
yeah, pretty much. But it's we used to do like just a day or a couple of days, but the problem was it was sort of it wasn't as inclusive because some people couldn't participate, maybe because if it was at the weekend, maybe they had like family commitments. If it was during the week, maybe their organization, like their work, their day job didn't sort of allow for it. So that's why we do it over a whole 7-day week now. But Marco and I have been talking for probably a good year or so now about so
or like
I go on.
Or like 2 years.
Maybe that long, about doing I mean in person would be amazing, but not possible, but at least a more slightly more synchronous hackathon. So like just spinning up a Zoom, but doing maybe like between 4 and 8 hours. Like hopefully it would involve us having a few beers and a bit of pizza, or like, you know, a bite to eat. It wouldn't just be like nonstop talking and draining and whatever, but at least have a Zoom that's open. Other people are welcome to sort of join and drop in or whatever, but we'd sort of maybe be hacking at separate things some of the time together, but just almost in a space, an open room, so that we could at least just yeah, chat a little bit and give each other a bit of motivation and pointers and stuff. But we've been talking about doing it for a long time, but just not, because we do this like most weeks, if not at least every 2 weeks. We manage to both get on these sessions and we pair for like an hour, and it's really nice, it's really productive, it's really great. But you only really get to discuss something called start hacking. You never really get like you can't see something through to conclusion, whereas in like a 4 or 8 hours or so, like I think we'd be able to get a few merge requests actually through, or that would be the hope anyway,
or at least started.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, I've got to dash now. I expect your time sort of running out as well. Ram, thanks so much for joining us. Like do feel free, especially on Discord, to reach out to me, Mark, or anyone just in the contribute channel, and I'll share this video shortly.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mark and Lee. Like this is very wonderful. Like, it's awesome. Like, seeing like, asynchronous people be on a live Zoom call and like actively supporting each other. Thank you so much for your time, and definitely I'll
No
keep
problem
up
at
on the
all.
pace, and
Have
I'll,
a
I'll
great
try
day.
to I'll try to attend the further sessions too. So thank you so much, guys.
Perfect. Look forward to seeing you. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.